Welcome back to week 4, day 1. Of course, it's the only day of the OPL this week. Happy birthday, Liz. Hello, everyone. I am Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk today is the AD carry from the Hellions, Frey, as well as the LPL's Frost Gurun. Frey, coming to you first. You know, new season, some changes, but it looks like same results for Hellions right now. What the heck is going on?
Well, we're actually not too sure either. I think our problems have kind of changed, though. We've been struggling to close our games, even though we get leads in the early game. I feel like it's kind of where the game is going. It's like a lot more macro rather than carrying with micro players. So yeah, we've been having issues there, so we're trying to fix that.
Froska's been really vocal, you know, that right now the patch seems to be centered around AD carries playing a little bit more utility. Yep. Top lane is carrying. When we looked at the Hellions, we thought that this would be a patch that would suit them very well. I mean, your top laner Ryu has been around for a while. Pretty good top laner. Is it something that you guys just haven't caught up with the patch yet, or are you not liking the utility in the bottom lane? What's going on there?
I definitely agree that ADs are going to be a lot more utility focused. Like picks like Ashe and Sivir, who are picked more for, you know, their pick potential and the speed, and you will have more carry top laners and carry mid laners coming out. But right now, I don't think we've just as a region even caught up yet. We're just still playing Ezreal and Lucian, prioritizing that a lot more and having Caitlyn picks. Ashe and Sivir are still more niche. You only see it from time to time, I think, in OCE at least. But I think maybe when we catch up, we'll see. We'll see if we can transition that into some wins, hopefully.
All right, well, looking forward to seeing if you can get that back together. Of course, Hellions are on a bye this week. As we take a look at the week's schedule, at least today's schedule, it is going to be Legacy versus Avantgarde kicking us off tonight before Sin Gaming take to the Summoner's Rift versus Direwolves. Of course, those games are to come in just some time. However, last week, we asked you to send us a photo about how you watch #IamOPL, and the winner is here, as you can see. When you have to study for exams, but OPL is live, #IamOPL at @LOL_Oceania, with some cheeky Red Bull on the desk. Of course, they're going to win a month's supply worth of Red Bull there. So, you know, I'm not necessarily endorsing skipping out on university study to watch the OPL, but if you have to do it, then it's up to you.
I mean, it's fine. We've gave them enough Red Bull to kind of push them through the rest of it.
We'll see whether that is. Of course, guys, let's just jump into game number 1. It is going to be Legacy on the blue side of Summoner's Rift. It's going to be Kulo in the top lane, substituting for Minky Whale. Carbon is their jungler. Choo Z is their mid laner. It's your boy King in AD carry, and Kudin their support. Of course, as I just mentioned, it is actually going to be Kulo playing tonight, not Minky Whale. So another substitute coming in from Legacy, Genesis Legacy's B team. Of course, they're going up against Avantgarde. It's going to be Survive alone in the top lane. Chelby, their jungler. Triple, their mid lane. Chenny, Boy in AD carry. And Jake, their support. Guys, unfortunately, Paradise has been suspended for 2 games due to a competitive ruling. There is more information over on oce.lolesports.com. So Survive alone will be jumping in for Avantgarde. And that's where I kind of want to kick off. 2 new top laners. What can we expect out of this? Do we know anything? Is it just like leave them on an island, see if they could sort it out themselves? What's going on, Frost?
I mean, it comes down to the question of how much top lane really means into the meta, which I am of the opinion that top laners, because you're playing things like Echo still, Maokai, very prevalent, especially in the OPL. I think he's only been banned once, but he's been picked almost like 16 games or something ridiculous like that. But otherwise, I think you just leave them alone. Like, top lane still has a really important role, but unfortunately, since both these players are or both these teams are playing with their teams behind their back in terms of their roster on the top side.
And Frey, you've played with substitutes before. I mean, Soul Strikes came in for Hellions last split when they had to fill in. You've gone through some roster swaps as well. How does it impact the team? Does it wreck communication? Do Hellions find it easy to integrate?
I think with substitutions, especially in this meta, it's like extremely difficult to bring in new members, especially a top laner, because with TP being so prevalent in the meta, having, you know, double TP plays bottom, and, you know, because it's really hard to get advantages bot because you just get double TP'd on. So if you have that coordination, you can pretty much neutralize any threat bot lane. So if they don't have that instant teleports coming in, then they could actually be at a disadvantage when they're trying to make plays bot side.
All right, cool. We will see if it impacts either of the teams. Of course, one man that isn't going to be impacted is Triple for Avantgarde. Absolute tear last week for us, going up against the Chiefs looked fantastic.
Yeah, Triple is definitely the guy to highlight on AV alongside with his duo partner Chelby there, so the jungle mid duo. Of course, he's going to be facing across from Choo Choo's, which you called out a little bit last week, and he stepped up on his Victor performance. But this is effectively 2 titans in the mid lane that will be clashing. The only guy not invited to this party is Swiffer.
Yeah, of course. These 2 mid laners going toe-to-toe. You used to be a mid laner yourself. If you would have played against them a lot in solo queue. What are your thoughts on how Triple and, I guess, Choo Choo's match up against each other?
I think Choo Choo's and Triple are both really solid mid laners, but Triple's probably a bit more aggressive and willing to make more plays, be more proactive. But Choochus definitely can just farm it out and carry late game.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we've talked a lot about how Legacy play this scrappy style of League of Legends. Frost, they just want to fight you. However, without Tally on their team, they have gone a little bit more macro-oriented. I know you're a big fan of the Talia comp, but with Minky Whale on team and what that was trying to accomplish.
So what's really cool for me is that a lot of teams I feel like are trying to define themselves. Like you said, you alluded a little bit that it's kind of like macro that everyone's trying to figure out where to move on the map and what to prioritize. I like the fact that Legacy are still being really creative in how they're approaching kind of the mid-season changes, but they're doing it through their team compositions. So on your screen, you can see that they played Italia with an Azir, which was effectively a double wall comp. And unfortunately, it did lose, but the execution when this comp was on point was absolutely brilliant to watch and very cool to see Legacy kind of experimenting with changing up their 5v5 style as opposed to just trying to figure out, like, what do we prioritize, Elder Dragon or Baron?
Yeah, and Frey, you play with someone that likes to play mage top laners. I mean, Minky's busted the Talia into the OPL scene now. Are we going to see Tay bring it out, or is that staying well and truly in the back pocket?
I think Talia has potential, but with champion picks like Jax and Aurelia coming out with the Triforce spikes, like Sheen spikes, I think they're just Talia's just gonna have too hard of a time laning against those without getting pressured too much. And her split push is definely not as good as it could be.
Of course, we are on the new patch, so it is 6.11, so we will see a lot of those Trinity Force users coming out. No more crit, but 20% cooldown reduction as well as more attack speed. I want to talk about what that means, because you already mentioned that, you know, 80 carries, double teleport, you have to play a little bit more utility. Now there's 2 subs on the lineup. Do you think this is a chance for maybe someone like King to be able to step up? Can Chenny go toe-to-toe with the Legacy bottom lane right now?
I think King and Chenny are both like pretty similar players, and they're really aggressive. They're both pretty solid. Chenny tends to make a couple more mistakes than King does because I think he's kind of more polished. But yeah, I think definitely if they focus around bot side with the 2 substitutes, I mean, they can definitely get an advantage bot side and let King carry.
I have to disagree slightly, although you are the AD carry main. Just from observation, I feel like King vastly outclasses Chenny, especially in his most recent performance. You were talking about like how Ashe is really coming into the meta. Chenny did a good job on bringing Ashe. I think against the Chiefs, he played it every single one of his games. Previously, he was only like a Lucian Ezreal. But the problem is if you put him on a utility champion like that, he needs to hit his utility, and unfortunately the Ashe arrows were not in Chenny's ball court.
Yeah, they certainly weren't on point for a little bit of that game, unfortunately. Want to bring it back to a holistic conversation here. I mean, both teams, you know, Avant-Garde, they were looking to make that top 4 push. Now, unfortunately, losing Paradise for a couple of games, that's going to hurt them. Legacy, undefeated so far. Do you just think that Avant-Garde as an organization is ready to take that next step? A lot of teams have been telling us that they think they are top 4 quality. Have you got a grasp on how you think Avant-Garde is doing right now?
I think there's like the top 2 teams, there's Legacy, Chiefs, and then I feel like most of the other teams are in a situation where they can, if they just click, they can get to the top 4 potentially. So I definitely think Avant-Garde have that potential, but yeah, it's just not happening.
No, I actually completely agree. I think it's a really fair assessment. I personally thought that Avant-Garde were a little bit ahead of people, despite the fact that they lost to Tainted Minds, and people would say, then, okay, how come Tainted Minds aren't there? Yep. Paradise, in particular, really kind of took a moment to come to himself. Unfortunately, without Paradise, I feel like that was a big star quality of Avant that really solidified themselves as kind of the 3rd-place team. And so now it's kind of up in the air. What do they look like with this new sub, and when will they be able to get them back?
All right, so we agree they're close. Are they close enough to take some matches tonight? Seems like we think Legacy are going to win. Are Avant good enough to take one?
I don't think so. I think Legacy outshine, like both these teams are, again, kind of tied behind their hands behind their backs because they don't have top laners, but Legacy's bottom lane is far and vastly superior to Avant's bot lane. You on a similar vein there?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, at best, Avant-Garde takes 1 match, but I really don't think they're going to win tonight.
All right, cool. So sweeps for Legacy across the desk. Of course, guys, Legacy as well as Avant are battling for their chance to be at the OPL Grand Final. It is August 13. In case you have forgotten, it has been a week in Brisbane, Queensland. Jump along to the website, pick up a ticket and get along there. If you can't make it, however, our good friends at Hoyt's have you covered. Grab your mates, head down to your local Hoyt cinema. There's some in Auckland, New Zealand, as well as Christchurch, as well as all the major cities in Australia. However, that is enough from us at the analyst desk. Here is Atlas and Rusty to take us into Game 1.
Thank you very much, Spawn. And look, Queen's birthday happened. We've only got 1 day of OPL, but we've still got a really exciting night ahead of you. And Rusty, 6.11, man. This is exciting.
Trinity Force is the biggest thing that has been touched on briefly on that desk, but you're right. A lot of different things have come out, a lot of experimentation. Alawi is my favorite one that we saw stand out. 6 times we've seen it played. 3-3, so it's not going too poorly, except if you're an EU, which means it hasn't won, and NA is only one with it. Very
Wow.
interesting stuff. But yeah, 6-11, moving into this champion select, there's a lot of questions we have to ask.
Exactly right. Of course, Ryze took some hits, Azir took some hits, Kindred changed a little bit as far as where her marks are going to be going. Lucian not going to be piercing as much light with that Q and allowing, as you mentioned, just silly, so many tentacles.
It's definitely silly. I don't think it'll come into play in this particular champion select. Of course, both top laners, think of them like enigmas.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Brand new to the rosters here is Kulo stepping in for Tally, whose wrist is still a little bit sore, and Survive Alone now standing in for a couple of weeks because Paradise is not going to be playing, but we are well and truly into these bans as Ashe, Twisted Fate have been taken away by Legacy. Of course, Chenny Boy playing 3 Ashe games in a row against the Chiefs, and Vladimir Swain. The classic, these champions are pretty silly bans.
Yeah, so Legacy have banned global influential champions. AV have to ban the strong champion, so Ryze would be the next one to follow, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Leaves open a lot of picks still as a first pick option, but again, we're going to see the response on red side be just as influential towards the remainder of the draft phase. I do like what Legacy have done though, on blue side, just target ban. Get rid of what worked for AV and almost took out the Chiefs in a 2-1 series. And that's a brilliant point to even raise simply because AV being able to go to that level against the Chiefs
Damn right.
is amazing.
Surprised that they're not, I mean, that is one mid lane ban, but Triple played unbelievably well. Of course, Azir changed just a little bit in the 6.11 patch, so may not be as much of a threat here to Legacy as the Rek'Sai was, of course, the final ban, continuing on that global presence niche.
So there's a couple of things. We touched on that Ryze.
Yeah.
To remember that Lucian, whilst he has seen some touch-ups on 6.11, is still a strong champion in his own right. As we go through the remainder of this pick and ban phase, junglers actually stand out like a sore thumb.
Exactly right.
Italy has like 97% influence in every game.
My
It's not being
God.
seen yet. They preferred Elise.
Yeah, so Carbon is going to be able to lock in the Elise. Of course, Nidalee, the pounce reset not coming in quite as quickly.
Exactly.
You mentioned to me that it sort of just changes her early jungle pathing. She's not quite as quick around the jungle maybe in the early game.
You lose a lot more health in your first clear as well. So naturally about 15 seconds of clear speed and about 15% of health bar goes missing, and you can run into a lot of risks.
Well, we'll see how things go as Avant looking at their first 2 picks here. Azir being hovered for the moment. Triple still confident in the golden chicken. As my God, it saw 2 bans in the consecutive matches against the Chiefs, and the guy did some pretty ridiculous things. And Jake, I mean, this has been his sort of support pick to go to in the Nami.
Yeah, absolutely. Nami seems to be a comfort option for him. He's known as the Braum one trick, but Braum seeing a lot less play competitively at the moment influences that change. And I mean, Jakey picking up Nami is good because it's offense, it's defense, it's his happy middle ground between like they can't play Soraka right now and it's Kuden. And it's also the complement the fact that you have sustain for Chenny and he's a very aggressive player. I know that was mentioned on the desk by Frey. It's a good pick.
Yeah, and Chenny, of course, been favouring a bit of that Ezreal. We've heard lots of times, you know, the old Mystic shot with a Tidal Blessing on it is just pretty silly.
It is.
Tidecaller's Blessing. Tidal Blessing? I think I was going half Fizz, half Nami there. But we're still staying ocean-themed as Legacy are going to lock in Bard. Don't take very long to figure that one out either, as Kulo is going to take the Maokai towards the top side of the map. So far, still pretty enigmatic on the side of Legacy.
Yeah, well, we've seen Kulo play one game on Legacy Genesis in the Challenger team, and he played Maokai in that one game. So he's going to stick to his guns. He's played it competitively, so continue that train of thought. The Bard as well, we mentioned no Soraka available for Kuden, mostly because the Nami's there and we're yet to even see the AD carry from AV. But Bard is this, again, like happy medium between I can do damage or I can sit back and farm, dependent on what you need.
This Fiddlesticks hover, you might think, just a silly hover. It has been said that Shelby is the Fiddlesticks guy.
Only Fiddlesticks player on the server, from what I've been told in Halo.
Well, and now when you stand still, you turn into a Scarecrow, which is pretty damn awesome. But might just change his ideas here, because of course Carbon has actually played 5 unique junglers so far in the 7 games that they have played, which is pretty impressive considering the jungle pool as it was in 6.10. As Aurelia is going to be locked in as well as that Gragas for AV.
Yeah, Survive Alone. Remember, we're on patch 6.11. First time the OPL has been played on this, and with the Trinity Force changes, with Aurelia just being a crazy champion on Summoner's Rift, no surprises to see it locked in. Knowing it's against the Maokai too. Interesting trade-off. I feel like Kulo might need to get a bit more health before he goes resistances.
pretty scary to me, just because the new Trinity Force has, like you mentioned, created a bit of a monster towards the top side of the map. But you can see Legacy, they're thinking about some pretty consistent options there for the late game, as King has already locked in the Caitlyn. Caitlyn Bard, I would not want to lane against that.
No, you wouldn't. But Nami, an ex-champion yet to be filled, could still be able to match that one, as I'd be shocked if this isn't the lock-in.
Yeah, makes
Legacy.
a lot of sense for Choo Choo's. He's been favoring a lot of that victor recently.
Yeah.
I think he's going to wait for the clock.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So it's locked in. So that's the team comp.
Yep, so they had a good think about it, but they lock in Choo Choo's victor. A strong performance in Game 3 of their last series for Legacy actually gets them over the line.
Yeah.
So it's important to see him on something comfortable go back to that once again. Choose, we said in the absence of Tally, needs to step up and be this big carry, and it's the right champion to do it on. Time and again.
Yeah, also, I mean, it was Minky switching over to the Maokai that really got them through that series at the same time. The Talia didn't quite work out, even though that comp was pretty cool on paper. So making sure that Legacy are sticking to what they know.
Yep.
Now Avant thinking about what they want to do with that AD carry position. Misfortune is fun.
Hey, I'm all for it, but
I'm well aware of that.
we'll touch on that if it is locked in.
Yeah, I want to see it. Want to see it. Because they've got a lot of AoE if they decide to pick it up.
It's a bit counterintuitive of a misfortune, so they should look towards the Ezreal, you would imagine. Oh, that works.
Yeah, Jin being considered as well. Huh. And Nami Jin actually makes a lot of sense. Tycor's Blessing, and you've only got 3 shots with that. Jin can only have like 4 bullets, just get rid of one of them. Then you've got like super powered last chambers, you know?
I mean, I guess so. It's probably not the prime reason that they look towards that one. Matching range as well, to an extent, with Caitlyn. Can get pushed out, but as far as that lane is concerned, it's almost always a wash.
Yep.
Caitlyn stands forward, and if you stand forward against the Jhin with Nami's empowered E, as you mentioned, you can definitely trade, if not out-trade it. So the 2v2 is more important than the 1v1, which a Caitlyn usually forces. I'm not necessarily looking at this bottom lane and saying that it's going to be too big of a deal. We need to check if they're going to lane swap or not first. But I'm looking at mid lane. Remember, we called Triple a god. Like, we outright just said that he's potentially the next Claire of Oast. Tally said it, and you know what? I believed it when he said it. So from here on, against Choose, this is the second big test.
Damn right it is. He's actually picked up the cleanse here as well, and you might think Victor, probably not a whole lot of chance to stun, but I think that's for Carbon. As, look, has been known to give Choo Choo's lane a little bit of attention towards the early stages, but I'm really excited to see how Triple is going to perform, because he performed fantastically well against Swiffer, and it's sort of his next big test here.
Absolutely. The second, potentially second best. We don't really know how to rate them individually.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's got to be a big deal.
Not quite yet, but ladies and gentlemen, we want you to get onto Twitter. Use that hashtag LGCWin if you think Legacy will be able to take this one down, or the hashtag AVWin if you think that they can take what they learnt last week with their fantastic series against the Chiefs and put it to good work here against Legacy, because, you know, it's another very big test for the whole team.
Yeah, this is massive. AV need to step up. So do Legacy, to be fair. Both missing these top laners. Both mid laners need to go off. And you're looking at Chenny as a sign of he needs to start being consistent in performance, because King seems to be doing that at the moment, and that could be where the problem really lies.
That's exactly right. And of course, King picking up the only champion that isn't Ezreal or Lucian so far in the OPL out of 7 games. So thank goodness he's starting to expand.
Yeah, we know he's got a closet vein available to him at any moment. He could always whip that one out.
And the most aggressive Sivir that we have ever seen. As Kuden's going to go for a face check here. Nami, yeah, immediately throws down the exhaust as the flash comes out as well. Kuden already flashless in this bottom lane. As Chu's now taking a few auto attacks from Triple, gets the Thunderlord.
Chenny's got W, so just remember that. If Triple keeps hitting him, it's about to be up.
Yeah, there it is. And he actually gets stunned up. The heal has to come out. And there are summoner spells being traded everywhere. That Cosmic Binding was very close to getting a stun, but AV unable to find too much joy. Grab themselves 2 summoner spells in trade for both of Jake's.
And Choose could have just ghosted. I don't know why he did not use his ghost, tries to save summoner spells and gets hit by Chenny's W. King now forces a flash out. Kuden doesn't have his flash, rather. King healed.
Yeah.
And just like that, 2 summoner spells burnt in the bottom lane essentially matches what AV had. And they kind of just pull up at the exact same spot. It's unusual.
Most certainly is, but you can see lane swap actually in effect here as Legacy have moved topside. Pings are coming in. Everyone aware of exactly what's going on. In fact, AV moving up to the enemy Krug camp is now Survivalone and Shelby relegated to the other side of their jungle.
This is Legacy every single time. They're so aggressive in this level 1.
Oh my god, fantastic double stun. Survivalone's taking so much damage. Burning to death. King is going to grab first blood. That looked all too easy.
That definitely did feel too easy. AV knew that there was a lane swap. They decided to go from Krugs to the Raptors and try and get in one cheeky camp before they left to the other side of the jungle. But between a Bard and a Caitlyn, level 1 presence is absolutely a thing. And as we speak of level 1 presence...
Oh god, it's a roaming death squad. Now, Chu's taking a bit of harassment, but I have a feeling this chicken needs to be a little bit careful. So far, just clearing out the top side of the jungle here of AV. Our Legacy, Carbon, deals with the Raptors and will head to this red buff. As Survivalone doing his very best to do not that. Shelby will be able to take care of him.
Yeah, and we spoke to the strength of mid laners, perhaps the mismatch of the bottom lane, which is now being completely avoided. But because of this, we now need to address the junglers as a point of presence. Now remember, both of these two are very experienced players. Shelby and Carbon, they have been around for an awful long time.
And also, they share a champion pool a lot as well. I mean, you talk about the Elise out of Carbon always being a fantastic champion. Lee Sin as well, one of his legacy picks. And Shelby, really similar as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest concern to me is how they actually control their top laners now they move around the Rift. And because it's a lane swap, the heavy macro style of play that Frey even alluded towards on the desk, they need to be very particular in their movements. Kulo and Survivalone are the two players that can get caught out more often than not with freezes.
Well, Carbon is actually looking for a bit of a gank here. Triple blows the flash instead of choosing to cleanse the cocoon. As Shelby just waiting for a few more of his buttons to be available, we'll be able to take down the enemy red buff and head over here to an optimistic Krug camp. See how he goes.
Yeah, well, he's going to get one of them and probably just recall. We'll see how he plays that one out with no smite available. He'll be alright, isn't he?
Survivalone doing exactly that underneath the turret. Does so quite nicely. Is Jake now going to head back to base, head towards the top side of the map. And we'll see how this lane swap is going to pan out. You have a feeling that Legacy are probably going to feel a lot better. Currently 700 gold ahead as Kulo reaping the benefits from a slightly earlier turret take.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing as well, just being the King has first blood, get an extra item in perhaps. Earlier Cull, maybe more aggressive and go for a pickaxe depending on how much he had when he went back, which could actually increase the rate of which they clear the next turret. And whilst they're slightly ahead already, that could increase further. Jhin does not excel at taking turrets.
No.
Whilst the crit can hit a turret for, I think it's 44% of its normal crit damage. Doesn't really add up to the same as a Caitlyn.
Not so much of a big deal. We are going to address these Keystone Masteries though, as of course Chenny Boy going to be taking the Deathfire touch. Pretty standard stuff though across the board. Lots of Thunderlording everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing as well, we mentioned it might be a pickaxe for the Caitlyn. Definitely did that. First blood helping out a lot.
Yeah. You're right about the Cull, which is what Chenny Boy decided to go with. Investment banking for the AD carry of Avant. They're now getting towards this turret, but Legacy are going to be well and truly ahead. Mountain Drake will be the first dragon available. Legacy will be able to go there if they want to.
So the Elise is now here to help accelerate the taking of this bottom lane turret. It indicates they could go straight to the Drake or they could look for a second, depending on how far ahead they are. The stack of minions is, yeah, no, they're way too far ahead. They just go for the inhib.
That's ridiculous.
They actually might force recalls out of AV before this turret is even taken because they're pressuring the second. This is very clever movement, and we did talk to experienced junglers. Shelby now realizes this and has to respond.
Yeah, Shelby actually making his way towards the top side, so this is a race that's certainly not going to be won by Avant. Lots of low health bars. They do have an extra creep wave, so they'll be able to take down this outer turret, but the inner is going to be traded as Legacy really coming out ahead as far as this lane swap is concerned.
Yeah, an extra turret. And we'll get this one. Spiderlings will help tank. Even the waves here.
And they are so far ahead, they're just going to keep going.
Yeah, well, they break the freeze by forcing it to the turret. They can go straight to the Drake. It's predictable, but in a good way here.
Oh, there's just no answer for Avant.
Yeah.
You can see Survivalone just going to make sure he holds that wave. Carbon is going to easily start off this dragon. So, 1,000 gold in the leader's Legacy as the dust settles. The dust of the 3 turrets that they've already managed to take here at 6.5 minutes.
And the best thing that they can get from this is farm onto Chelby. He is a very quick level 6. He's 2 levels ahead of Carbon because they prioritize team gold over getting individual players ahead. That's definitely what it feels like this battle is now becoming. Can Chelby get something done? Actually start carrying his team, put it on the back. Can Legacy as a team actually do it?
Chelby definitely does have something to prove now. He's almost doubled his CS, my god. I mean, that's where their advantages come from, but can't really see it represented monetarily so far. As Triple has an experience lead and his Stinger already built up. And we'll see, Rusty, what's your opinion about sort of the evolution of Azir builds? Do you think that he goes for something like the Berserker's Greaves now that they've got a little bit of extra attack speed?
It's a suspicion. We haven't actually seen it since LGS has been competing on it. But occasionally you'll see the odd Azir go for Berserker Greaves. This stage, because he's against a Maokai, Elise, Victor, and Bard, he might want even Merc trades, but I guess the claim's compensated. I don't know, I just think, yeah, he's less efficient right now than he usually was with the changes to Stinger. Whilst I believe Berserker Greaves could be alright, he might be prioritizing other things right now. It's not as safe as he'd like.
You can see Choose dealing with that wave very, very easily. As the dust settled as well, Chenny Boy was able to pick up a bit of extra farm. Almost halfway done on that cull as far as getting that extra sweet 350 gold. Shelby getting stalked for the moment.
You know, the numbers advantage is on the top side of the map for Legacy, as their bottom lane is over-pushing towards the second turret. That's why Carbon has advanced so aggressively and even has a sight stone. This is very team-based play.
Yeah, there's so many caster minions doing so much work on these turrets. Yeah. Shelby just throws out the ultimate, wants to clear the minion wave, but I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to, as King just keeps throwing bullets into it. He's got a BF sword now as well, so that's a lot of turret damage available for this pink-hatted Caitlyn.
Gold lead's growing even more simply from turrets taken. Shelby wants...
Whoa, there's the flash, but Shelby is able to body slam in time. Nice reaction from the jungler of Avant. It's a nice double barrel there.
And that was a big fake out, honestly, because Shelby was looking for Choose, but Legacy knew where Shelby was. So the counterplay, seemingly one step ahead here. Kulo's taken a bit.
Yeah, big combo out of the AD bottom lane as he throws down the ultimate. Kulo does have to be careful here. As if he hits all of them, he's going to die. The flash comes in, and he's going to survive for now, but it's a big summoner spell.
Even a slight delay from Chenny very cleverly uses that Jhin ultimate. The first one hits, usually the next 3 will. And that's the problem with the Jhin ult, with how much it slows you down.
And making sure that there's no flash twisted advance for the next 5 minutes is pretty good news here for Avant, especially when they do rely on triple so much. Might give him some more breathing room around this map as he throws down a pink ward.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see the Ghost Blade from Chenny.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of this from Jins recently.
Yeah, and I always thought it was a good item. In fact, Rymeister used to play a lot of Jhin mid, and that was his first item. He just thought it was far too efficient. You activate it, and you actually get a damage increase because of the attack speed scaling.
Oh, of course.
With AD opposed to scaling with actual attack speed. You attack at a fixed rate. So it's pretty cool. You activate it, and suddenly you're like far stronger than people would first think with that crit.
Never actually thought about that. Well, in goes Triple, doesn't find the Emperor's Divide as Chenny Boy and Jake have made their way over, but Triple's still taking damage from this. Chaos Storm has to flash as Choose with the Ghost is able to chase down Chenny Boy. Oh, the Cocoon is going to land after the flash, but he's still alive. King able to get the last auto attack in as Survivalone just teleports in and says, oh, nah, you don't want any of this.
Legacy just straight up styled on AV. One misplay from Triple, not hitting the ultimate, but to be fair, Choose popped his Ghost, and then actually just had Fancy Feet for the next 10 seconds and dodged everything. Choose just went, he just put in work, and then Carbon predicts the flash and gets the Cocoon. If anything could go wrong for AV, it all just did at once.
It certainly did. Triple now trying to eat some cupcakes here in the mid lane, clear it all out. As Carbon once again threatening with a gank. Let's see this one again. That was so close.
Just watch Choose. He doesn't exactly control the ultimate efficiently, but the Jhin W, the Nami bubble, just casually moves to the side every single time, and then the flash predicts from Carbon. Enough damage from King to actually secure it. The heal baited them into running away.
Yeah. We can see Avant still not down by a full 2,000 gold just yet. But Legacy just seem to know what they want from this map every single time.
You know, one thing you'll note is Bard players always place their shrines in different areas.
Yeah, that's sort of what defines a Bard player.
Personal preference is the only real thing you gain from it, but I don't even know if every Bard knows you can place it in a bush and reveal the bush for a second. Because that is so handy. It's a higher range than the ward.
Don't need to face check.
Exactly.
Good, going to get himself some movement speed. So another use for the old shrine as Legacy clearing out vision all around this dragon. Ocean Drake will be up in 40 seconds. Could be the next point of contact.
Chimes.
Yeah.
Oh, he just ticked 6 as well.
God, the penguins are so adorable. Gets me every time. Every time. Can't handle it.
So Legacy are making a move towards the dragon. Of course, being an ocean would be quite handy early in the game. And at 13 minutes to have 2 of them, very handy for when the Elder spawns. When the game gets to that stage. Very early movement, so look at the wards that Legacy have in place for this. AV, they know, and they've grouped up for it. They might try and trade for the Rift Herald, however, instead of team fighting, depending on how strong they feel. Chelby's definitely feeling strong, however, and he is a lot stronger than Carbon.
Jake actually going to land the bubble here as there's the flash body slam. Carbon gets delivered as the Tempered Fate is going to lock down Shelby for a moment. Carbon comes down from the rappel into his death. As there's the curtain call, doesn't find one just yet as Kuden blocking for King. Definitely a good idea. He's going to take the last vault as AV claims some control.
Yeah, so the Maokai doesn't have teleport just yet either, and defending this turret's going to be a decently large effort from a Victor, who thankfully has an abundance of that wave clear. But all things considered, we just mentioned that Shelby feels a bit stronger than that of Carbon. Remember, rushing a Sightstone doesn't give you a whole lot of utility. The unfortunate thing is the Bard ultimate stopped giving Carbon an escape.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It tempered with Shelby, and his escape was then triple instead. And so instead of just dropping down, he chose the target that would kill him quicker, as he had no other option.
Now Kulo with the teleport advantage is able to shove that wave entirely towards this turret as Survivalone doesn't have his TB for the next little while. Will mean that AV has to back away. Yeah, Kulo is just going to launch his way through. Big bubble comes down as he does die. Shelby able to pick up that kill as Jenny Boy just eating a Chaos Storm, but eventually it is going to time out. He survives for the moment, but another pick for AV.
Yeah, another blunder from the top laner as well. Kulo does have his teleport and is up in 10. Legacy, they thankfully push AV off the Drake that they were looking to do with a lot of damage from King's ulti, but then they bounce back and look for a dive. I'm going to say it was a little bit too early from Kulo to help that one out.
Thank you very much, production team. That was glorious.
And still looking good here, though, from Triple. Triple's actually very strong. He's got his completed item now, so the inefficiency of the Stinger is no more. It's quite efficient. Just waiting on that Ghost Blade from Jin, who you would imagine can afford it when he actually recalls.
The scary thing is, as well, is that Triple's managed to get an assist and a kill in all of that chaos. And the gold is now entirely even once again. And that's with more standing gold taken by Legacy by a long shot. That is 2 whole turrets, so theoretically they should be about 2,500 gold ahead. So that Sentinel is going to reset and then be released once again.
Yeah, there's standing gold available for AV, so if they actually win a team fight and get control of the map, they can start to take those. But they're pretty deep set turrets besides the middle lane.
Yeah,
and that's the one they do really need to break. And also gold leads even. It actually gives a lot of movement available to Legacy. They can dive places that aren't actually dives anymore because it's just rubble. They can also place deeper vision and feel safer about it and control objectives like this, because look how far back Chenny Boy is farming just to actually get that farm.
Yeah, and of course Caitlyn with her wave clear able to shove that wave up very quickly, as well as AV decide what they want is this Rift Herald. Survivalone probably wants to get his split push on as this game progresses. Almost has his new and improved Trinity Force.
I guess they're collapsing on this. Survivalone might be the one caught. No.
It's just going to be released as it resets, heads back into its den. Ebb and Flow will be able to get Shelby up to relatively full health as King. Yeah, going to take a lot of damage. Oh, God. Curtain Call's going to come out as Chenny's looking for King. Not going to find it as Kuden once again being the hero that his AD carry needed.
Yeah, but AV pushed them off so they can look for the Rift Herald if they need it. It's more of a luxury buff, so I don't think they should, unless there's nothing else for them to take. And this is a lot of effort for a single Rift Herald.
There's a lot of people here. Exactly right. As you can see, it is just going to be a couple of backs coming in for Legacy, so they give it up for now, despite the fact that Chenny Boy's ultimate is down.
But Glimpse of the Void's just a nice to have, and they're giving opportunities for Legacy to look for a fight.
It takes so long to actually kill it. Oh, Carbon not going to find the cocoon there as the bubble is going to land. In goes Survivalone as the repel has to be used. Carbon flashes, picks himself up. A way out as the ultimate comes in, slams King against the wall. Survivalone thought he could get it with the Equilibrium Strike, but it's not enough. Look at the Chaos Storm from Choose, just eating through AV. Massive Cosmic Binding comes down, and thank goodness there was an exhaust. Not quite enough though, as Kuden is able to take down the support, and Choose just snuck in there. Jenny Boy just caught napping there for a moment.
It's the ghost from the Victor.
Yeah, there's the flash. Does have the gravity field. Survivalone gonna get stunned. And not going to be able to... Oh my god, the explosion onto the mid laner. And he trades it 1-for-1. But in the end, it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Legacy.
Choose got really greedy there and actually looked for the second kill on Chelby opposed to just killing the Aurelia outright. And so he pays for it with his own life. They still get an advantage here, Legacy. Breaking more turrets, getting more kills. Pushing them off the Rift Herald again because that buff is not worth going all in over. And you have to say Kuden. He is putting in overtime.
Yeah, that bot is looking so good out of Legacy's relatively new support. And the benefactor on the side of Legacy as well is going to be King. 2 kills already. We are going to have a look at this one more time.
Yeah, Carbon does well to flash into the magical journey, so gets out. And King, they thought he was dead with this follow-up from Survivalone. Didn't get the auto off. And this is where Choose just starts to go off. The Victor hitting that stun, forcing summoners. And this is where he starts to actually, once he gets untangled, pop the ghost and find everybody. He goes too fast at the moment. Remember, the ghost changes. Oh, pretty big. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Legacy had Kuden putting in work. And this is where Choose gets greedy. Looks for the kill on Chelby. Watch the laser placement. He wanted Chelby with Survivalone to maximize damage output.
Yeah.
And yes, the smash from Kulo made him miss. But because he was trying to get pixel perfect lasers down, he pays for it.
I like the idea, though. It's definitely a cute idea.
Good idea in concept, but they were, again, very greedy.
Yeah. Survivalone in the end, though, is able to pick up that kill, gets him towards his Trinity Force. Also now has some Mercury's Treads, and we'll see what he decides to pick up next. Of course, one of my personal favorite things about 611 is Wit's End. Could be a good idea against the relatively large amounts of magic damage. However, you know, something like a Spirit Visage is still probably a better idea.
We talked about Aurelia.
Yeah. Wit's End Aurelia, yeah, that's good news, right? You break my heart, Rusty.
It's one of those, like, it's a good news story, like when you go onto the news and they're like, one of the babies was born at the zoo. And you're like, that's wonderful, but I don't really, like, that doesn't interest me.
Ah, right. Yeah, baby pandas. Similar. I understand. But
congratulations to that zoo.
Shelby actually looking for Carbon here. Does get a bit of a boop. He's going to now follow through. Deadly Flourish didn't find anyone there, so Legacy are going to be okay. Rift Herald is going to seppuku himself. Make some room for Baron, who's going to be there in 5 seconds' time.
And he returns to his rightful home, the Void. Baron's pit, after all. Yeah, Body Slam also making the Jin's W miss. As AV are now in their own jungle, showing some signs of life. However, looking for fights constantly. Shelby will stand his ground in his own jungle. It's like what Carbon used to say, but now on the other shoe.
Yep.
If I see you, I will fight you.
Good, not going to take damage from that W, as Legacy are just making some moves around this Baron area. Kuden with a very magical journey.
It's an extended vision game, so remember that Drake being another mountain is also up in 55 seconds. Legacy essentially won what is the vision game, in quotes, of the Baron area, except that AV still have a ward in the pit. So they didn't really. The actual focus should be after a recall from Carbon and Kuden. Get some wards actually near the Drake. It's something they might want a little bit more than the Baron at this stage. We are only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, exactly. They do have a Mountain Drake, so it'll help them with their damage, I guess.
Especially damage to the Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, you're entirely right. 20 seconds until that Mountain Drake is up.
You can see how it kind of baited AV towards the Baron side. Looking to consolidate vision. I'm not going to say that was on purpose, but it feels like a side effect.
Yeah.
Of controlling the area so aggressively.
A lot of mind games going on for now.
But you run them topside, you get a recall in, you get vision, you get anti-vision in the sweepers as well. You then run bottom and establish yourself. They shouldn't have any vision there. Yet, AV managed to always have that Survivalone placing that one.
Well, Legacy are going to be able to take down this Mountain Drake relatively easily as King, now with the Infinity Edge, critting for a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
AV just looking to try and hold on to this game.
They kind of moved themselves around the map, and whilst the gold was close to even, it gave Caitlyn 2 items.
Yeah.
King with 2 items, as well as Caitlyn. Pretty big.
Oh, yeah, Carbon going to take so much damage. Repel goes up. Chenny holding on to the ultimate, but there's the Tempered Fate. He's going to save the Elisa's life. As the Chaos Storm still moving through Avant. Not going to quite have that perfect Hex score just yet, so the Chaos Storm a little sluggish for the moment.
But that was gorgeous from Kuden again. Giving Carbon an escape every single time. I didn't know you could repel through the Jin's W.
Yeah.
You can actually stay... Yeah, so you can repel that one. He flashed towards the Magical Journey again. The Kuden set up specifically for him. Got him out and used the Tempered Fate on the Jin who was ulting so that he couldn't follow that one up whilst he was in the journey. I like it.
Real cute play. Kuden continuing to impress on this Bard. Has an initial face check, turns it all around from there. Definitely a good news story.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as Game 1 is concerned, he's absolutely MVPing this. Until we hit late game and perhaps a team fight. AV, remember, they're a top 4 side.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they've been coined as. They took it to 3 games against the Chiefs. And late game is Triple's specialty. As far as team fighting is concerned, he does not skip a beat. He's on a Zia, getting towards his items. It's going to be very heavy hitting late game.
Precisely. So we'll see exactly whether AV are going to be able to get to the team fights that they're looking for. As Kulo, he's going to find himself a sapling onto Shelby. Does have the flash as the cocoon is going to land. They need to use it, but it's a nice heal that comes out from Jake. Ebbing and flowing.
Spiderlings are the best body blockers, man. 4 of them just stood in front of Shelby and said, go on, use your body slam. I dare you. Don't get anything. It's Kulo. Doesn't really want to recall it.
Oh, Triple having to shift some sands to get out here as the ultimate comes through. Has to flash,
Jesus,
but now the
as
Chaos
well.
Storm is moving super quickly. Chooses able to pick up the kill. Survivalone now going to try find a teleport, but he's well into enemy lines. Cocoon's going to land. Brilliant flash comes out here. Survivalone still looking for more as King is going to fall, but it's the only one dead.
He's on.
Here for Legacy. Survivalone's still fighting this one out. Equilibrium Strike comes down. He wants it, but isn't going to find it there as Kulo is able to lock down the kill. Chenny. Death Ray doesn't find him, but he gets slowed down by the Q, and that bubble just saved his life.
Yep, that absolutely might have.
Oh, God.
It did. The heal as well. So Jake saves him. Chenny barely lives, but didn't get a lot of damage down in that fight. Unfortunately, the Jin not able to have too much of an impact. This fight all kicked off, remembering that Triple just got killed by Choose, who did not need to use a summoner for it, just walked at him until he died. And this could spell Baron, and most likely will.
Yeah, well, Legacy have already taken it down to half health. 2 Mountain Drakes helping them out so much here.
Bank on a Miracle Jin W, if anything, at this stage.
Yeah, my God. That will be one hell of a flourish, but they aren't going to be able to pick it up. It is Choo Choo's that locks down the Baron, and Legacy will make it to safety. So as far as objectives are concerned,
Cool,
Legacy are all over this game.
Okay, so we're going to see this one again. And Triple, we saw exactly what was used for it. But on the flip side, King actually got hit by a bubble. And whilst that didn't connect, it didn't matter because the damage is there. And you can see this is how he goes down. Kuden with great awareness. Bard was always said to be the counter to Jin, simply because he throws out an ultimate. You know where he is, but we're fighting.
Yeah, here's a team fight here as Kulo is going to fall down. Chenny Boy, though, is going to get destroyed by the Chaos Storm and King in combination. The ult comes out. Shelby tanks it when he probably shouldn't have. He's on relatively low health. Standalone is going to wander in a little bit late to this party. An outer turret did fall down amongst the Chaos.
Yeah, AV picked that one up. Legacy now threatening the inner, however.
Oh, God, choose.
Needs to show some respect to the Azir.
Bit of chilling out needs to happen.
That was also why Shelby took the Caitlyn ultimate. Triple was full health. They wanted to keep him here to be relevant in this wave clear, if not threatening things like. Shelby knew he wasn't going to die.
I was afraid for him.
Survivalone might need to. Jakey might need to be careful.
Oh,
all of them.
Jesus.
They need to start respecting their headshots. As the crit chance gets higher, you'll find that Nami is a sitting duck. She ever hits a trap.
I was going to go for a joke.
I know you were looking for a fish.
There was a lot of them, but I felt like it probably wouldn't be a great idea. As Jenny Boy does have a cheeky serrated dirk, as well as that BF sword. I'm hoping and praying for a Duskblade. I have a feeling it may not happen.
You know what? It might be. We'll just let it decide. I think he's, I don't know how this works in Misfortune's Q procs it, and it's a physical on-hit spell.
Ah, yeah.
Perhaps Jin does with his Q as well. We'll see where he goes. It could just be the offensive part of a more of Malmortius.
Yeah.
He also wants crit. Jin. Here we are.
Interesting. Very excited to see how it develops. As Deadly Flourish once again going to come out. Jenny Boy looking to try and help clear out this minion wave.
Duskblade.
Yeah, I was a bit confused as well. Rail's there, zoning Legacy relatively. As you can see, Triple over to the side, able to clear out this wave. Oh god,
they
there's
got
the
Triple.
Tempered Fate. They're looking for an engagement here as Kuden is going to get caught out. The cleanse used from Triple, a lot of fear here for AV's mid laner. King going to be slowed down. Another bolt's going to come in. Nice trap. Sorry, Net is going to be able to get him to safety as Shelby. Stop stepping on traps, man. Those headshots do so much work.
And this is the cool thing that Legacy can look towards doing. They don't have a banner of command, unfortunately. If Kuden had that one, maybe things could have been different in that particular siege. But you set up the traps, offensive or defensive, it makes hitting turrets or defending them really difficult. Like plain and simple. King sets up a few of them there and tries to zone them away. And Bard looked for the pick. But Jin has enough zone control to prevent that one, as this is another mountain.
Oh, the Cocoon not going to land. Shelby able to body slam his way out. That's a very scared ultimate to come out from the Gragas as Choose just casually steals a blue buff.
Yeah, Shelby needs to check his underwear, but this is the third mountain. The third of its kind in this game, and the third that Legacy get.
Yeah.
So that Baron, whilst it's not there, when it respawns, will be not long for the world. The turrets, the damage that they're doing now is unreasonable. And that is pretty ideal, honestly.
Especially for a comp built to siege, especially at this stage of the game. 30 minutes in, it's a 3-1-3 Caitlyn with 3 items. A lot of threes. Also a lot of siege potential. It's Triple still able to do a lot of damage. Once again, eating cupcakes is Shelby.
So like what Triple's doing is not giving them a chance to set up by poking them out before they can put traps down, perhaps. He's got high enough range as well, and the Jin being able to engage utilizing the Azir poke means that Gragas has perfect follow-up. As far as team compositions go, I actually quite like what AV have put together. They're just currently missing a top laner. And at this stage, in a 4v4, I'd still look at Legacy and say that might be better.
Well, Cooler, you can see taking care of that bottom lane quite nicely. Survival Alone, sorry, is going to be able to grab it. That's a lot of pressure.
You have to like how they are. They basically just hid top laners.
Yeah.
Like they got the turrets, they did the lane swaps, they just try and freeze for each respective top laner and just hide them. And it makes sense. As far as strategy is concerned, that is a good one.
As far as moving into the late game is concerned, if these teams sort of remain at this level of advantage for Legacy, will they get to a point where Aurelia is just going to be too strong in a split push, something like that? Do AV have something to wait for here?
But right now they're banking on Triple, where Legacy are looking at Caitlyn. So it's Siege against Anti-Siege. I think the best case scenario is that AV actually counter-engage. They don't really want Aurelia to be split pushing. She can definitely outscale Maokai in that respect, but it feels like at this point it's just null and void. Realistically, they want to catch Choose out being over-aggressive and trying to poke people out, or King doing the same, and just all-in win a team fight, and then push down themselves.
You can see right now, definitely trying to keep these minion waves pushed up. See Carbon assisting a minion wave towards the inhibitor turret on the top side. AV getting stretched around the map. And Shelby refusing to leave his jungle. He body slams his way over a wall to help clear out some vision.
So it is a more of Malmortius.
Yeah.
Unchained way. It's not going to be a Duskblade, which would be unusual.
Nice Cocoon. Bubble going to miss. Carbon unable to follow up though due to the fact that he was avoiding that. Captive Audience going to come in there and try and slow some people down as Legacy continue the mid lane siege. This inner turret in trouble right now as there's the curtain call. Trying to find Choose with it. He's going to nail one of the bolts, but another Tempered Fate just cancels it and they grab the turret. Looking all too easy here from Legacy, and they have so many answers.
Well, Bard is the answer to Jin. That's the best part. Caitlyn's generally the answer to Aurelia or Frontline. And so this is Triple against the world. Something he's definitely used to, as he is a star mid laner in his own right at this stage of the OPL. That's safe to say.
Oh yeah.
As we move towards the next Baron in 20 seconds with 3 Mountain Drakes on the side of Legacy. They can look to siege this one out, and by siege I mean place vision early and catch people out, because AV's probably safest when looking to counter-engage and deny siege. Legacy, if they can set up, force AV away from turrets, they might be able to get picks with the Elise cocoons. The Victor as well, putting down burst, and Kuden will have his ult up again very soon. You gotta love the new sweeper.
Damn right.
It's like a jump scare.
I'm definitely scared.
You see a red lens and it actually shows a giant Gragas in the bush, you actually kind of freak out a little bit.
See for now, I mean, Banner of Command is completed here for Jake. He's going to be able to help with the counter pushes that are going to be going on. Kulo going to struggle to kill that. What AV are going to be able to get out of this as Triple gets a lot of damage onto Carbon. Shrugging a lot of it off. Is Guardian Angel already done here for Maokai as third item?
This is the setup. Caitlyn traps in a choke point. Creates some awkward scenarios for AV. They don't necessarily need to just straight do the Baron. But if they ever find an opportunity to do so, it'll get taken way too quickly.
And AV need to make sure that they're always ready to respond. Teleports are available for both top laners.
Shelby just needs to engage. They need to find the best case scenario. It's a flash body slam onto King. He does have a QSS though. So if he plays it right, body slam can get QSS and then flash to the other side of the keg.
Oh, they are just going to start off this Baron. Massive damage
Look how
coming
much
out already
damage
as
that
Shelby is going to get headshotted. It's a decent deadly flourish to come in here as Chenny Boy has set up the ultimate. Another Tempered Fate comes down as you can see Shelby right in the back of the pit, but they've stopped damage. Survivalone now just fighting everyone as Triple's going to help out. Shelby takes himself the Baron. In fact, Triple picks it up and grabs himself Carbon for the price. Chenny Boy now running away, does have the shield from the Hex Drinker, and they sacrifice the Fishy Lady. 2 for 1, and they get a Baron. I'd say that AV feeling pretty good after the dust is settled, despite the kill loss.
I mean, close to best case scenario here for Avant picking up that Baron steal. Shelby and Triple working together. I don't think Shelby smote it. It was simply Carbon dying at the same time. They look like they have a numbers advantage here as King.
Whoa, caught out of position. Barrel comes down, so he is slowed also, but there's the gravity field. Triple unable to use the cleanse quite in time, but he's going to survive for now, and AV stave off the legacy push.
Yeah, they do. King must not have had his QSS available anymore using the last fight. No, he does. Just didn't want to use it. Maybe forgot he had it.
Bit worried, just not worried about dying, something like that.
Should have been worried to use his heal instead. With the Dragon up as well, in 2 seconds, it's a fire. You may want that Infernal Drake. AV now got an opportunity to work towards it with the Baron. They just stole from their hands of Legacy, who overcommitted to the Baron, honestly, because half of them wanted to disengage and fight.
Shelby with some fancy footwork there, gets a bit of damage down onto Kuden. Chu's making his way around as Triple's being caught by a Cocoon. There's the Emperor's Divide trying to turn it here onto Carbon as the Chaos Storm just explodes him. You can see Carbon taking a lot of damage from Chenny. One more will be able to find him as Survivalone is going to be able to pick it up. Blue buff now to be taken here by AV as it's a 1 for 2 trade in favor of Legacy. But Kuden in trouble. Magical Journey, of course, is going to take him to safety. Legacy just want turrets.
Yeah, they're looking at winning the game, not just fighting for the Drake. In a missed position here, potentially, from AV. No flash body slam, and only Chenny on the front flank. This is all coming down to execution from AV.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. It's Shelby wanting to find his way in. Survivalone, decent positioning right now. Doesn't get trapped up, but King, pretty safe. Has a huge front line in Kulo, just defending this Caitlyn, who's eating through this inhibitor. That falls down. Tempered Fate is going to land on a Shelby, as you can see, Triple up in 5 seconds. Jake well and truly back in it, but Legacy have got exactly what they wanted. Survivalone going to get on top of King. There's the Equilibrium Strike, flashes and QSSs to get himself out of the way. Nice heal comes in with the ebb and flow. There's Shelby. Oh
wow,
my God.
somehow.
Jesus, Triple making his way back in as well.
Yeah, Legacy say no Baron, no problem. And they kind of just brute force their way into the inhibitor. Now they look at the Drake once more. AV absolutely still want to fight this. No flash body slam, however, for Shelby makes life difficult on the engage front.
King doesn't have any summoner spells either, so Survivalone now, as he makes his way into this fight, will have kill threat onto King. Oh, Carbon tried to find his way in, but not going to be able to get there. Infernal Drake now goes over to Avant. Not exactly the hugest deal, 4 Drakes to 1.
That's still 8% AP for the Azir and AD for Chenny Boy, which you have to remember being Jhin.
Yeah, scales pretty well.
Is a lot of damage, because 8% of a champion that can have like 700 AD starts to add up in the end.
That's up to 700. I'm pretty scared.
He also does have a Dust Blade, and he opted towards that with the Maw.
Oh, cool.
So the Q will apply the on-hit effect of it, I believe, the activation.
Well, you can see AV now setting up, trying to take down this turret. They will do so very easily as there is a Banner of Commanded minion doing a whole bunch of work. Tempered Fate avoided by everyone other than those couple of minions that they really did want. As AV will need to tend to this mid lane soon.
Yeah, so the Baron will be ran out essentially here by AV. They still get a turret for it. They get themselves the Infernal Drake. And they're not out of this game yet by any means. The middle inhibitor makes life hard for them, but they can accommodate that fact.
That's where Triple's been most of the game, clearing out mid lane. He does have a heck of a lot of that wave clear. Now 40 CS lead as well, but if we're talking about CS advantages, you have to mention King, who is about to get to the point where he's 100 CS ahead. He is over Chenny Boy.
Yep, and has a Last Whisper now. So he went for Mercurials with that Last Whisper completed. Will be doing a lot of damage to the tanks.
Oh my god, the explosion, but Survivalone looking for Kuden. There's the explosive cast with Kulo delivered to the backline. There's the tidal wave as now Carbon does have to make his way out. Survivalone's going to die to King, who's doing a lot of damage in the backline, and there's the Emperor's Divide. Chenny Boy, though, is going to die for it, and AV.
Oh, the ult's on.
God, that Tempered Fate was so beautiful. Magical Journey delivers Legacy towards Triple. Can't quite find the kill, but they still want to go for this game-winning push. Death Ray comes in.
Playing with danger here, Legacy, though. Looking for an end is aggressive. Minions are about to crash. Triple doesn't have flash.
No Emperor's Divide either, so those disengage options not there as Shelby's going to get stunned up. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's pretty tanky. Not enough as King is going to be able to take down the kill. Turrets are falling. Triple explodes to the death ray damage, but it is Choose that falls down. He gets his revenge in the end, but the Nexus not going to survive the Legacy onslaught. And honestly, they committed to playing the map, and they did so beautifully.
Yeah, the mid laners take each other out, but the Nexus for Legacy in game number 1. Really, we spoke to the mismatch of the bottom lane in Champion Select, and that seems to be what just kind of rang true. Mostly because King was set up the most to succeed. Chenny was kind of just left with whatever resources he could find, as Carbon and Shelby just hit each other in the middle lane and assorted jungle areas.
They most certainly did, but we are going to throw it to the analyst desk to break down the first Legacy victory. Thanks so much, guys. And Legacy are able to pick up the first victory. You know, it was pretty convincing, but took maybe a little bit longer than we expected, especially after a great macro start from the team. I mean, able to go up 4 turrets to 2 and start building that gold lead.
I mean, effectively, it was a Baron transfer over to AV that kind of gave them that little bit of breathing room that might have created the longevity there for AV's survival. Likewise, they did have Triple, and that is 0, so kind of a siege versus anti-siege composition that Rusty was talking about on cast. But otherwise, pretty clean sweep from Legacy.
Yeah, it certainly did look clean. What did you make of the early game, Frey? I mean, was it just AV getting late to lanes, not being able to defend? Was it the top laner Survivalone getting picked off level 1 that put them so far behind?
I'd say the early game was straight up just their top laner being a bit inexperienced and the AV greeting a bit for the camp. So they obviously saw them come in late for the invade, but they still wanted to do the Wraith camp and obviously got punished for that, which means Aurelia got to lane late, and then they managed to get a massive wave building up and then shoving through for 2 towers. Like, it all snowballed from there, and they didn't try to stem the bleeding. They just tried to answer what Legacy were doing and just kept falling further behind.
Yeah, and it was really cool that it kind of fell into Legacy's composition's hands. Like, not only that they got triple Mountain Drake, but the fact that they get to abuse a wave so large, and they have the likes of Victor, Kate, and Elise. Kate and Elise in particular, when you're looking at that push, just because they have such great sieging potential with the use of the Spiderlings as well as the steroid on Elise, and then Caitlyn being Caitlyn.
Yeah, so that meant that the early game did go over, and, you know, we said that maybe without Tally, Legacy will play more of a macro game. They certainly did do that. We also pointed out that, you know, there's this huge discrepancy between the bottom lanes, not only King, because I think that's easy to point out, right? This is an AD carry that has 100 CS lead, goes absolutely off on Kate, but also Kuden, one of the newer members towards Legacy, playing that Bard and pretty much shutting down the Jhin completely.
Yeah, it pretty much acted as a counter. Again, Rusty said it on cast. We saw it in practice quite a few times. Literally, Jhin sets up for his curtain call ultimate, just gives him a nice big target on his face, and Bard just dunks on him every time.
And what did you think about the Jhin build? I mean, we see the Ghost Blade into the Maw, into the Dusk Blade. Did you like it, Frey? Is that something you're going to be running around solo queue?
I mean, I think maybe he thought he did actually pick MF in the Champions Select because he did go for the Korean Misfortune build. I was a bit confused with that. Like, lack of affinity edge on Jhin just feels so underwhelming. But I guess they were pretty far behind, so.
Underwhelming is a nice way to put it. Infinity Edge is like crucial to Jin because of how it's going to work with his passive. So not having that there pretty much like negated so much of his damage. I don't agree with that build at all. I thought it was terrible.
All right, cool. And I guess the last point we do have to take a look at is the two top laners. I mean, Kulo coming across from the Legacy B team, Survivor Lone Substitute coming in for Avant-Garde on very short notice. What do we make of their games? You know, what are you looking at for maybe them to clean up next time around?
I mean, Coolio at least looked a bit more in line with Legacy about what they were trying to do, you know, a bit more team-oriented. Survival was caught out a lot more in terms of just him overextending or being on the wrong side of a team fight. So I'd say that Coolio looked a bit more comfortable, but otherwise, I didn't see a lot from either top laner.
All right, cool. And with that, it means that Legacy are able to pick up game number 1, guys. But don't go anywhere because Avant get their chance to hit back in game 2. We'll be back in 3.5.